Hi everyone. Today I want to show you a fun watercoloring technique that gives you this really pretty, I don't know what to call it, dappled sky perhaps. Kind of looks like Aurora Borealis over here. And it's really a simple thing to achieve. You can make it look like water too instead of a sky. This kind of looks like light going through the water, some just different tones in the blues. You can use different colors to make just dappled leaves in the fall. Or just a fun background. You can even use bright colors and cut them out and make balloons. So any kind of little thing you want to make out of it. My favorite though has to be the sky. You can use this for Christmas, it's really pretty. Or like I said, for water, or even a galaxy. Maybe you're making a birthday card for a boy who likes Star Wars. Imagine the galaxy with the dappled stars and things like that. So I thought I would show you a really quick way to get this effect. And you can use watercolor paper or shimmery white cardstock. Either one will work nicely for this technique, and I thought I would do 4. And what I do is I just use some grid paper. You can use whatever you normally have out on your desk, and I tape the pieces down. I kind of like the look that the white taped edges give, but sometimes I just cut it out so you don't see the edges anyway. So I try to be a little precise when I tape it down, and I like the grid paper because it kind of gives me an idea of how thick my edge is. And I just use retired washi tape. Washi tape is nice because it's easy to remove without tearing up your paper. You do want to make sure to press down the washi tape so that water doesn't get underneath. There's also painter's tape that you can use for this. Washi tape is just something that I have on hand. I buy a lot of it because I just love it. And it retires, and then I notice that it just kind of sits, so I tend to use up my retired washi. And there's the end of that. And here's a different roll because I knew that was going to happen. So let's start out with a basic sky, and like I said, I'm using watercolor. This side is watercolor, this side is shimmery white. I wanted you to see the differences. So I started with Night of Navy on the sky. You want a nice dark color. So to get some ink in your ink pad, you're just going to squeeze the lid closed like this, or squeeze it while it's closed, and then open it up and you'll have a nice big pool of ink in your lid. You can also use re-inkers and add drops of ink color to the lid, and you'll be safe with that because when it closes it'll just add some more to your pad. It's always nice to have re-inkers on hand. I think they're wonderful for so many different techniques. I'm using an Aqua Painter. When you buy Aqua Painters you get a 2-pack. One has a thin brush and one has a thicker brush, and for this technique I'm going to use the thicker brush. And I want to squeeze the barrel to get some water to flow into the brush tip. And for this technique you want to wet your paper. Starting with the watercolor paper. And then you're going to grab a bunch of that Night of Navy ink and just get it on there. I love watching it flow. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of, I'm just going to clear off this brush a little bit. I loaded it up with Night of Navy, so I'm just going to squeeze it a few times to really get that brush rinsed off. And for this card, this is one I'm going to replicate real quick. I used a light color next. While it's still wet, you kind of have to work fast, and I used Pool Party. So let's squeeze Pool Party, and we're going to squeeze the barrel of our Aqua Painter to make sure that it's got a good amount of water in it. And you're going to pick up a big bunch of that Pool Party ink. And now you're going to use the lid from your Aqua Painter, and you're going to flick the Pool Party onto the paper. Let's grab some more. You can see that the new color is kind of moving. Now Pool Party and Night of Navy are both similar colors, so let's see what happens when we add another color. And I'm going to add Blushing Bride. So you pick up a bunch of that ink and make sure your barrel is wet. And you're going to flick Blushing Bride onto the paper. And you can see how the Night of Navy kind of spreads aside and lets that Blushing Bride have some space. Now when it gets too dry, it's not going to spread anymore, so you have to work quickly. Have your ink pads ready. So that's really pretty. And another thing that I love to add is my Wink of Stella. Now that is a fun shimmery paint, and you're going to do the similar thing. You're going to squeeze your barrel and let that Wink of Stella flow to the tip, and then you're just going to flick it with your lid like this, and it is going to add beautiful little stars to your paper, or water bubbles if this is the sea that you're creating. They're never going to look the same. You're going to have different results every time, and they're all going to be amazing. Ooh, I got a big blob there because I squeezed over. Squeeze away from your paper. That'll be okay. We'll see what happens with that. It'll be kind of fun. Okay, so that is the basic technique, and while I have this all set up, I thought I would show some more fun colors, and you can go through your colors at home and make different combinations. So this is the shimmery white, and you're going to see how it's a little different. So again, we're going to squeeze the barrel of the Aqua. That's the small one. Let me grab the bigger one. And it's just a different surface, so it's going to look a little different. I'm going to go lighter. I'm going to go with Pool Party. And see, it doesn't, the water doesn't stay in one spot. It kind of gets into the cardstock faster. So it's just going to look a little different. I'm going to squeeze this. You have to work fast. So this would be a good one for water, and maybe you can add some fish from that really cute Just Keep Swimming, or so many fun stamps. I love the mermaid, so I think the mermaid is great, or the octopus from Message in a Bottle. So you've got some lights. You're going to work quickly and grab maybe some little bit of green for your water. And so again, squeeze the barrel so that the barrel is nice and wet. Pick up some ink and lay it down. It works best with dark colors, I have to say, and then adding the light. So Pool Party might have been, although I did it with this one. This is Pool Party and Pear Pizzazz. And let's say you've got, let's add some more Pool Party. You can go back and add more if it's still wet, if you want to get darker, and you can go back and flick the same color on top too. So you get more drama on watercolor paper. You get the interesting spread. This looks like a galaxy forming, doesn't it? It's really pretty. So there's that one. And let's go with some dark colors on the shimmery white just to see how that goes. So we're going to again work fast. You want the brush to be really wet. There, we got it on there fast. See, the ink just absorbs differently. You've got lots of shading here. You even see little bits of purple stuff that's in the ink that's coming out. Let's flick some Pool Party. And we're starting to get some drama there. And let's add tiny bit of some gold. And that is what is in this card. You've got little bits of crushed curry shining through. And then let's go back and add some Winkostella. Again, I'm going to squeeze it this time over the paper. There we go. Okay, so we've got 3 different versions going. And for here, let's try something completely different. Let's go ahead. I like the dark colors, but let's go with something different. Let's bring in the new Tranquil Tide, kind of see how that works. And you know what, you're going to get a little bit of difference each time because the colors sometimes have hidden, like you can see that some violet came through on this Night of Navy on the shimmery white. So are not going to be quite sure what's going to come through. This is watercolor paper, so I want a really wet brush, and I want to get this ink on there fast. That was fun. There we go. Tranquil Tide. I'm going with the new in colors. I'm going to flick some fresh fig onto top. Every once in a while my lid gets kind of full of ink, so you got to clean it out. And we're going to flick some of this on there. And then you've got a really fun kind of tie-dye look. You can use this for a fun birthday background, or maybe, there we go. Let's see what happens when we add lemon lime twist. So we're just experimenting here. Oh, that's pretty. So what can you do with this color combination? There. So I think that this technique makes really interesting backgrounds, but I also think it makes really interesting cutouts, like I did with this fall color. I did Cajun Craze, Island Indigo, and Crushed Curry, and then cut it out with some dyes, and you get some really pretty color combinations there. And again, it can be a background for a fun card. I thought maybe we would make the little winter scene with this one as soon as it dries, so I'm going to pause the video for just a second and come back when it's nice and dry, and we'll go ahead and use that one for a fun little winter scene. Okay, I am back, and here are my little pieces, and I can keep these aside and use them on other projects in the near future. They're really fun little pieces of paper to have, little backgrounds that you can have in your collection. And right now we're going to work with this one. So I'm going to make another one of these little cards. It uses the card front builder dies. In the card front builder dies you get a cute little collection that includes that little deer and some assorted trees. There's one that's by itself and one that's in a little pair of trees. And I was just about to pop it out of the little die. There we go. And it's a fun little die set to have, and I love this little frame, and we're not using it today, but I'm going to show it to you because it's really cool. It makes a frame all around, which is why it's called Card Front Builder, because you can build this pretty frame around a card front. It's quite lovely. And so anyway, I wanted to show these. And what I did to make this is I cut a little piece of some Dazzling Diamond Snow. This is glimmer paper, and there's silver and Dazzling Diamonds are a little different. And I used both because I just wanted to stand out a little bit. And I'm kind of trying to see where I want to cut this. I think I might want to cut it over here, so I've got a little bit of that showing and some more of this Blushing Bride. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down how I want to cut it. And then I'm going to run this through my Big Shot. Now glimmer paper works best if you cut it this way. But I really want to know where it's going to be, so I'm going to cut it this way. But just so you know. Okay, so I'm going to go cut this in my Big Shot and bring it right back. Okay, let's get rid of, there we go. And I'm going to attach that right here. I could have went up a little higher. Let's see. I'm going to attach it and see what I think. Now this tree I wanted to stand up a little bit, so I popped him out with some dimensionals. And then the little deer, I used a glue dot and tucked him half behind a tree. There we go. Almost looks like a snow globe. You could use that as a snow globe. So pretty. Okay, and then I just mounted it onto some shimmery white paper to finish off the card. I used Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which comes from the Quilt stamp set. It's a brand new stamp set in the holiday catalog. Right in the front, really fun, called Christmas Quilt. We're going to use that stamp set right there. And I stamped it in Night of Navy. I mounted onto another piece of shimmery white. I like the little border that it gives. Just for some added texture, I used some silver ribbon. It's new ribbon. It has this little edge, metallic edge it's called. And I just cut a small little loop. I'll just stick that where I wanted. I just used a little bit of tear tape, which will be hidden by the circle image in the middle. And there you have it, a cute little Christmas card with a beautiful sky background. I hope you like it. I hope you give this technique a try. I love Aqua Painters, so pick up some of these. You can shop for Stampin' Up products at my blog, bestpapercuts.com, and try out some different colors, see what kind of combinations you can get. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.